Hey, it's Mike Monday here. Today I'm going to help you overcome one of the problems that every single music producer and musician has to deal with at some point, in fact usually many points in their career, and that's rejection. It happens to absolutely everybody, doesn't matter how successful you are, and if you allow rejection to knock you off course, then you're not going to get very far at all. Now, the video I'm about to show you comes from part 5 of my flagship program, Start Now, Finish Fast, which helps music producers of all kinds make much more quality music fast. And month 5 is called Blast Through the Boredom, where I help you overcome those inevitable points in the process where you get either completely bored of the process or bored of the music. And you can do this, in fact, you can change the way you feel about absolutely anything in the music production process, from making the music to sending it out to rejection, by using a few simple techniques to choose your experience. Look at this statement. When my tune was rejected by that label, it made me feel low. There's an assumption in there, in that statement, that an event can cause you to experience a state of feeling low. The statement assumes the process is this. Rejection causes an immediate automatic reaction of feeling low. But this is a massive oversimplification. Human beings naturally make sense of the chaotic and unpredictable world around them by deciding that events, situations, and the reactions of other people mean something. This thing that's happened means that. So in our example, the meaning you take from the rejection by a label might be, I'm no good at music. So if it was, the process becomes this. Rejection causes an immediate automatic reaction. This reaction, plus what you've decided the rejection means, I'm no good at making music, leads to you feeling low. But this is still too simple, because just as you decide what outside events mean, you also do the same for your internal thoughts and feelings. So, for instance, my tune got rejected by that label, which means I'm no good at music. This makes me feel low. Now I feel low, it means I must have something to feel low about. And this must be that I'm no good at music. So feeling low, which remember occurred because you decided the rejection meant you're no good at music, in effect validated that meaning. You've created a negative feedback loop. Rejection causes an immediate automatic reaction. This reaction, plus what you've decided the rejection means, that I'm no good at making music, leads to feeling low. Feeling low must mean something, that I'm no good at making music, so it must be true. Now this process occurs without conscious thought on your part. Otherwise, you'd notice how irrational it is, or at least you'd probably notice how irrational it is. You'd just experience it as a growing belief that you're no good at music. Or maybe not even that. You might just experience it as a decrease in motivation to get back in the studio. So right now, I want you to think about a situation in your life. It doesn't have to be rejection, just an event that was unpleasant. Think through what happened, the meaning you took from it, and how you felt about it. Pause this video if you have to and jot down on a piece of paper what happened, then your reaction to it, what you decided the event meant, and finally, how that made you feel. Okay, you've done that. Look at what you've written down. If you're honest with yourself, you'll almost certainly find that what you felt as a result of the meaning you took from the event confirmed, or at least in some way validated, the meaning you took from the event. Now this is human, but it's also ridiculous, because in large part the feelings you felt came from what you decided the event meant in the first place. So how do you break this destructive cycle? How do you break out? Well, unless you're a dog or a baby, there are a couple of ways out, because there's something that's missing from this diagram. Probably the most important part of it, in fact. Choice. The power to choose.
And you have choices at two different points in this mental process. First, you can choose or decide what the rejection means. As I covered last month, reframing is a great way of doing this. How about you decide that their label's release schedule might be full for the next few months? Or you're great at music, but this isn't the right thing for them? Or that they don't know what they're missing? So now the process is this. Rejection causes an immediate automatic reaction. Despite this automatic reaction, I choose the meaning I take from the rejection. Okay, so now we come to the next point of choice. How about changing the way you feel about the situation? You might not be able to change your initial immediate reaction. Let's face it, who wouldn't be disappointed if they got rejected by a label? But after that, you do not have to feel low. You can change your state. Even if you decide the rejection still means you're no good at music. So finally, we come to this. Rejection causes an immediate automatic reaction. Despite this automatic reaction, I can choose the meaning I take from the rejection. I also choose how I feel about this meaning and therefore the whole situation. So this is where changing state comes in. Now at this point, I'm sure I can hear some of you thinking, but Mike, my thoughts and feelings do mean something. They give me useful information about what to do and what not to do. Well, yes, of course. Thoughts and feelings are useful, obviously. They're there for a reason and can give you some information about what's going on, but they don't in themselves have any inherent meaning, unless you want them to. Unless you decide they're useful, you can ignore or even change them. A thought is just a thought. A feeling is just a feeling. It isn't always evidence for something you need to take notice of. If you don't believe me, let me give you just one example of some thoughts and feelings that most certainly don't mean anything. Your nervous system, where thoughts and feelings come from, is an ever-shifting and constantly updating network of electrical and chemical activity. And your brain reconnects and reconfigures trillions of connections all the time. This is without you thinking about it, just automatically does it. This is called ambient neural activity. And this ambient neural activity means that sometimes weird or random thoughts and feelings pop in there for no particular reason. They just do. They don't mean anything. They don't even have to be related to anything. And as humans, we have a natural tendency to think that every thought or feeling we experience must mean something. But not every thought or feeling does mean something. It's up to you to decide which are useful and which are not. Now, understanding this has made a massive difference in my life and work. I'm no longer a slave to my thoughts or emotions, whether they're random or not. I can view them for what they are. Potentially useful sources of information, but not necessarily useful sources of information. I now have the power to choose what I act on, what I pay attention to, and what I leave aside, which in the end makes an enormous difference in my ability to do my creative work. And as you are an adult with a functioning prefrontal cortex, or at least I presume you are, and especially as many of the exercises and techniques I've taught you and which you've been using since you started this program will have increased the size and effectiveness of your prefrontal cortex, you also have a choice. You can choose which thoughts and feelings to pay attention to, which to leave aside, and you can even choose what you feel and what you think in any given situation. So the question isn't, how do I feel about this? But how do I want to feel about this?
So as you can see, that initial feeling you have about a negative event can have very many more negative consequences if you let it. I mean, the choice I used to make was that I couldn't make any judgments about my music based on a single rejection. The choice I used to take from any rejection was that I didn't know what it meant. I mean, there are literally thousands of reasons a label might be rejecting your music, and only one of them is that music is rubbish, and assuming that it is that the music is rubbish or that you need to change something as a result of a rejection is the same as mind reading. Unless somebody tells you there's specifically something they don't like or something that needs improvement, don't assume. And even then, it's just one person's opinion. Now, I've got a short audio exercise, a little Jedi mind trick that is taken from my full flagship program, Start Now, Finish Fast, and it helps the members overcome these inevitable rejections that happen in absolutely every music career. It's called Tone It Down, and if you want it for free, I'll send it to you if you just click the link somewhere on this page. So all you need to do now is click the link somewhere on this page. I'll send you the exercise, and until next time, onwards and upwards.